In this tutorial video, I'm going to cover how to do three-dimensional objects. So depending on what operations or what designs you need to make, you'll be doing several different types. So in the following videos, we'll be covering how to do simple extrusions, the different types of extrusions, how to do revolves, sweeps, and lofts. So the first one we're going to cover in this video is the extrude function. And pretty much in order to make an extrude, what you need is either a two-dimensional sketch or a flat surface that can be extruded. So I'm going to do, to start off with this exercise, I'm going to start a sketch, choose my XY work plane, and just to keep things simple, we're going to go ahead with a rectangle. So I'm going to use a 2-point rectangle. Click anywhere on my screen to place the points. So what I'll do is I'll make this a 4x4 square. Okay. So I'm going to type in 4, press tab to switch between the other dimensions, and type 4. Once I got it to where I want it, I'm going to press enter to go ahead and draw it out. And I am going to finish my sketch. So once I finish my sketch, I am back into my three-dimensional view, and then I'm going to go ahead and extrude it. So several different ways to do it. You can do press and pull, and just click on the surface that you want, and it's going to convert it to the extrude function. The other way of doing it is if you're done finishing your sketch, you're going to click on the extrude button, which is right next to your sketch. And because this is the only drawing and surface that's available, it's automatically going to select it. The third type, which I kind of like to do because it helps speed up the process, is that you can do this either after you finish your sketch or when you're almost finished the sketch, and instead of skipping, hitting the finish sketch button, you can just type E, and that's going to automatically go into extrude. So from there, you have several different ways of doing your extrusion. One way is to grab this blue arrow and then just drag it in the direction that you want to go. So you can drag it upwards to extrude to in that direction, or bring it below to extrude it to the bottom. You'll also have a number bar on the side floating around. You can use that to type in the measurement of your part. You can also do in the dialog box over here, you can kind of specify what you want to do. So you have options to do one side, two sides, and then two sides symmetric. Basically the way it works is one side is just your standard extrusion, just pick and choose your direction. Two side means that you can have them extrude in both directions, but at different distances. So this can be very useful if you're trying to do different surfaces, or if you're working with a center plane that's going to be the center of your object. You can have it extruding in two directions, but that will still kind of remain as more or less the center point of focus in your design. Then the third option is symmetric. It'll go in both directions, but at the same length. The extent type, that was going to be very useful when you're doing one-sided extrusion. You have what is called your distance, so you can type in a measurement. You have what is called to object, and basically what that means is that there's something floating by, you want to extrude it, and then once it makes contact with that stop right there, you can click on that to make it stop at that point. Then to all, this works more when you're doing cuts. If you don't know the measurement of all of the parts of your assembly, you want to cut a hole through everything, you can change that to all. So I'll just put that to distance, so say maybe a 4-inch, keep it as a perfect square. And then the last thing we'll cover is what is called your operation. So you have 4 different types of operations. You have join, which is you're adding material onto a part. Then you have cut, which I'll demonstrate once I'm done with this one, intersect, and then new body. So for now, we're going to keep it at new body and then press OK. And there we have our sketch. Now, as I mentioned before, you can extrude anything that has a flat surface. So if I do push, pull, or extrude, and then click on a part or any flat surface, I can push and pull it in any direction that I want. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add another drawing to any of my work planes. So I'm going to go ahead to this side on the right. I'm going to center my work plane, or my drawing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a circle, more or less towards the middle of my square. Okay, now I'll make it a diameter of 3. I'm going to finish my sketch and then go ahead and extrude. And now we'll go ahead and talk about the other types of operations. So first and foremost, if we drag outside of the part or extrude it outside, you have the operation called join. So what that does is going to add material, but it's going to consider all of that one single body. Okay. If I extrude going inwards, by default, it'll change into what is called a cut operation. You'll notice that the inside kind of gives you a kind of a 3D X-ray view, but it's all in red. The red indicates, what is going to be cut out. And if you look at it from the front angle, it kind of shows you what it will kind of look like. Okay. The third operation, known as intersect, is basically anything that's in this red area where they both bodies or both shapes intersect is going to stay. Anything outside of it will get removed, and it'll be kind of indicated by the color yellow. Okay. Then the fourth category is new body. The way that works is that it's going to add a new material on there, but it's going to consider those two different pieces. So kind of like putting a cap on a bottle of water. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and do a join, and maybe I'll extrude that to about 0.25, about a half an inch, so 0.5. There we go. Okay. Now, again, as I mentioned before, you can extrude any flat surfaces. So if I click on push-pull and then click on the face that's aligned with the circle that we just drawn, you can actually push and pull that outwards. You can see it only affects that object. So it's actually very, very useful to manipulate and make more complex shapes. Okay. So that pretty much covers the basics of the extrude function.